Hi, YouTube. I hope you're doing well. To my new subscribers, thank you for joining me. I appreciate that. Hopefully, over here, you can get to know a lot of the good people that do hang around and glean some kind of information daily or just have a chat or, you know, whatever you're up to. Um, Good day to everybody. So I spent part of my morning after I haven't set my clock back yet, but oh, that's a whole nother story than where I'm going today. But yeah, that's a bunch of baloney just in itself, and it harms people in a lot of ways. But okay, my topic today, first off, over at the Magic Tree House, was really interesting and fun. I did take a break and came back. I paused it and came back, said my thank yous, and went and made some chicken chow mein and rice for later on. I got to get that done in the early hours of the day or as early as I can so I can eat later. I eat once a day. I usually fast all day long, every day, if not more. You know, a few times a year I'll do a bigger fast, but I usually once a day and have a motto: if I don't need it, I don't eat it. Well, I broke that rule last night, and that's why I made the chow mein today because Doug asked me if I would. And at first I said no, but then I came back out and I told him, yeah, I'll do that because you might get mad, but I ate your Hershey bar. And I did do that on purpose, literally out of spite, because he had eaten some of mine right in front of me, um, knowing I wanted it and didn't even excuse himself. And I thought, okay, you'll pay for that one. And I never used to be like that. I'm practicing. He's taught me well. So anyway, I made the chow mein for sort of like a trade, but then asked him for another favor. So that'll equal that out if you get my meaning. So it's a barter system around here. That's he's my estranged husband. 10 years ago, I gave him a letter of divorcement, signed and dated. All he's got to do is take it and apply it anytime he wants because he played games with me that he shouldn't have played, and it's the end of the story. So, anyway, and I do get my retirement in February. Woohoo! Can't wait. So, yeah, gonna be 65. So, um, yeah, let's see what else. I think that's about there on that. Okay, I'm listening to a Israel News live that Stephen Ben Danoon. He's talking about, okay, I wouldn't even typically have shared any of his stuff, but he did say, although I don't believe it entirely, that he doesn't follow the Kabbalah or the Talmudic teachings. He said the Talmud, um, Talmud, um, that he has that. Sorry, buddy. I happen to know there's more than just one, and the teachings that are within what they call that bound Talmud are not the teachings of the Talmudic teachings that are all individual, numbering up into like 260 different families that have their own beliefs and belief systems. And it's one of those families with the very smallest of teachings that they can harm the very smallest of people as long as their penis fits inside it. I think I'm just going to share your information, but I just want to make that part clear that I'm not naive to the whole situation, giving any religious or sect around this planet. So, with that said, I will share what he's talking about is how some of the Jewish people believe in a dual Messiah. No, they know that there was a mommy, a daddy, and a baby, but they're trying to make it sound like two men. And then he's showing Benjamin Netanyahu and Trump together and saying that maybe they're going to come back as the two messiahs or whatever. But I do want to share that link with you because the main topic of my video today hits home with how I feel about Israel's flag being flown in our White House, and that I've said all the time, go jump into Kansas, make your own state, like you pretend to control our country and the people in it anyway, and pay taxes like everybody else, because I'm sick of giving to your skanky ass. That's how I feel about it. So I'm going to share that link to Ron DeSantis over in Israel signing bills, state legislative bills in Israel. What is the Florida senator doing in Israel signing laws concerning the United States of America? That's where I'm going with my video today. That's what that's about. And it has nothing to do with anybody's heritage except for the dark cabal. And they come in all shapes and colors and everything all over the world. My father that raised me, Mason Jesuit, he was a past master 3 times, grandmaster, with Shriner's rights, Jesuit priest. See where I was going with that. I'll get to my point. I started thinking about my dad there. That wasn't my point. See, I was adopted, and every family in my bloodline, I'm like their little bastard that they were going to try and make some kind of Manchurian candidate out of, but it didn't. It didn't work for them. So let me calm myself down a minute here. I'll light a cigarette and then I'll get back on track. It's hard for me not to, you know. Mm, that's what it was. And he was Swedish and Finnish, both families from the Illuminati bloodline, no matter where, if they called themselves Phoenicians or Romans or Lower Egypt, because upper and lower is a distinct difference in the people, and was back then too. Wherever they traveled, whether it was Norway or Germany or the Americas, their bloodline, their heritage, and the beginnings before everybody went out of Babylon, they're still the same Jewish families. So in sense, see, my dad called himself like the Minneapolis Jew. Yes, he was. He was from that bloodline, and that's who they are. The word Jew means Draco. That's the baseline for that word. So, and please, nobody, don't try and tell me anything. I don't listen to anybody but God in my heart and all the stuff I actually do know. I mean, you can teach me how to plant a banana. I'm like really getting into animal husbandry, well, I know quite a bit about animals, but more on the micro level of things, and study microorganisms and that type of stuff. But I do know a lot of things, and I just really, current events, yeah, you can tell me a couple things, but I do know a lot of things. And like I say, I'm open to kind of listening, but not much, I guess. I gotta honestly just tell you like it is, you know, any subject. So, yeah, okay. Well, anyway, um, one of our state senators has no business over in another country signing any of our bills in a foreign land. That's ridiculous. That's unheard of. You know, it's not, see, people do not make the connection of, it's not even that the crypto Jews are just like um, seclusively in Israel. It's not that. I mean, they could be in Berlin or Singapore. China's another big area. Minneapolis, Chicago, wherever, whoever. Um, Over in the Canary Islands. Hey, Richie. Um, Real quick on that, the Magic Tree House. If you have not heard Richard Avery's music and his work talking about whether it's like current events or the metaphysical or whatever, you might want to check out his work. And a side note, he's really been messed over by that government there and can use some support financially. And I can only give it emotionally right now, but I wouldn't even promote somebody if I didn't believe that they were a good person deserving of that. So, um, yeah. So please check his channel out. In my community, if you go there, I've become accustomed now to posting links to other people's videos, maybe on something that I want somebody to see for certain, or like people that do music, musician friends of mine, or um, whoever, whether um, like, oh, Esoteric Eddie did a 7-minute video, 43-second, I believe, on the book of Bartholomew that was taken out, not canonized, um, in the scriptures, something like that. If I think people will be interested in that and they make a good representation or presentation of that, then I'll share it. But I really do. And if there's something funky in something, I'm going to point it out and maybe share it anyway, like I did with this, what I'm going to share, Israeli News Live, because the information is true and one of our senators has no business. Shit, the senators in my state can't do their jobs as it is. I wrote my government concerning children that are wards of the state. Just so happened 2 men from Israel had adopted a child out of the United States, took one of our children out of the United States. There's 5 families to one child waiting to be adopted. I don't believe in adopted anybody. Um, when I had been in a group situation with children more like myself, I was a lot happier, and so were they, because we all had each other. And through adopting, families aren't able to know their siblings, and there's all kinds of reasons. But with this one in particular, and then it spurred me on to realize, is this child going to have dual citizenship? Is it, did it like lose it? Do they keep its social security number active on the stock market? How does this work? And what about the child's blood relatives that might want to find him someday, but, or it was a him, but in another country? No citizen of our country should be taken out of our country, period. There's no excuse for that. So with that, I wrote a letter to my state to be read on the floor and made a video out of it, which I'm going to share here. It's been 3 months and 1 week. I have not heard anything to my questions that I had for those people. I tried calling them. I tried messaging them. I got things like, thank you for contacting us and we'll get back to you. Yeah, when? You know. So I'm not too pleased with my government. Well, I never have been. I started out as a ward of the state. They adopted me out to one Masonic family, and I was injured 2 weeks old and brought back and adopted out again. So my whole life kind of started out with, yeah, you know what? Taking care of children, government really is not your strong suit, you know, because they don't want to take care of the children. They want people, all people, to be vulnerable to them, you know. Long story short, I decoded the Masonic Blue Book with they used the New Testament and the King James Bible, uh, the older the better, and a Merriam-Webster dictionary, a very old one, because the language is different, and the Strong's Concordance. Strong, Strong's, yeah. And but you really only need the dictionary and the Bible, but you have to have a pre 1920 Merriam Webster's dictionary, and that's the only place you're going to find the code that is in the King James Bible, the same code that will say if it's a noun, it will have abbreviations for the state. If it has like the letter S and it will have a line under that, that'll indicate that it's synonymous with, and it's a code. And it's all correlating with the numbers too out of the book of Gematria, but you have to have the whole thing as a working unit. So it's kind of like astrology, um, and the region a person is in, like, and you know, the time of year and the energy of the planet where you're born has a lot to do with a person's personality, is what I'm getting at basically. But it goes deeper too, and then it depends too, are we talking like Vedic astrology? And speaking of that, what was very funny, yesterday Doug was calling my cat Fatima, and I said it's called Fatima, and if you want to go into that too and talk about false religions and teachings, I ran across a group of satanic witches a long time ago, and I'm still a part of the group. I was over there attacking them, and yes, they attacked me back, but guess who won? And now they bow because I don't take their shit. I know their lies, you know. So they still hate me, don't get me wrong, but they're still on the ground where liars belong. So, anyway, cheers, everybody. People, I hate liars. Anybody else? I really can't do that, you know? I can't tolerate it at all. It'd surprise you. So, yeah, what do you think about one of our statesmen over there signing laws in Israel? Get the hell out of here. I'm not anti Semitic. I have that bloodline in me too. Go fuck yourself. Get out of our United States. You don't belong here. We don't want your banks, and we don't want your bullshit. We don't want your Noahide laws, and you're not going to get away with it. Nobody's going to tell me that I have to praise some satanic twit and go along with your shit that's going to abuse the next generations and just sit here and tell you that I wouldn't slap the fuck out of you if I met you in person trying to tell other people that shit. So, anyway, after I decoded that, they tried to kill me. And when they couldn't kill me and God kept helping me, then they started teaching me because they knew that there was something in me, evidently, that I had to get out here and do. And for some weird reason, I was on the first computer, home computer from IBM and the U of M and some other connected entities, and the same in 1970 and 71 on a great big computer called Big Blue. So, um, not just knowing what the components are in the inside and able to work with them, I know software application and I'm capable of writing code if I wanted to, but that's not my thing, you know. But anyway, my point on that is I was able to get online a long time ago in the 90s. I was in government sites um, and Masonic sites and other places telling these people, start getting this information out to the people, or I'm going to personally come where you are and take care of you. And I wasn't kidding because at this point, my sons had already been destroyed by these fuckers, and I wasn't going to watch another generation go through that. And now that I have grandchildren, I'm even doubly more passionate about that. And yeah, I work out every day, and I'm not sitting still for these clowns, you know. So I won't. Yeah, I got weapons, but I don't need them. I've had people pull guns on me, shoot me. I had a gun in my mouth. That time I did pray. I gotta honestly say, I normally would knock it or kick it out of somebody's hand, but that was kind of like a surprise attack. Well, I've been surprise attacked a lot, but that I do believe was God's interception there because that was a real dangerous one. Well, all of them were pretty dangerous whenever people are trying to kill you, even poison or whatever. It's dangerous, but yeah, well, all I'm telling you is true. And the first time I ran away from the Masons, I was 5, but I was too little to make it by myself. But when I was 12, I had ran away 21 times. I made it down to Florida from Minnesota, and I got busted in Georgia. So I was 15. So came back to Minnesota after I got busted, and I was in a Catholic girls' school and then a group home. But before the Catholic girls' school, I started papers to divorce the Masons. I got emancipated in my state with a job as a student teacher when I was 17. And the best day of my life was walking in that courtroom. Well, it was private chambers, and humiliating the Masons that had used me my entire life and thought they were going to get away with it. And that's when I really started my war on these people. And it's why, because they screwed with the wrong person. So I have love in my heart for them. My dad's now passed away, but the old Eastern Star bat, she's still shining bright at 88 years old, I think, or somewhere. I haven't talked to her for a long time. you know. But these are people where I tried to keep them away from my children. I had a restraining order, and they went and had the restraining order overturned because they could. Took my youngest son up north and let my adopted brother molest my son. So, things like that. So I don't really sit back here with their Noahide laws, what they can do to what they consider goyim and get away with. And no laws are going to hurt these people. Well, your laws might not, but I'm going to, and I will put my dent on this planet, and that's what I'm doing. So for you all that are new here, and I know the bloodlines explicitly. In fact, just talking to people, I can consider all sorts of things. But I've got so many bloodlines in me, and where I go and where I came from and who everybody was, it'd flip you right out. So you'd be surprised. Or not. If you know me well, you're not surprised now because you know, but that's just a little history on what I'm all about and what I do here. I do everything within my power to expose them and take them down and share as much information and knowledge about all sorts of different things that we can appreciate. Some people think that the moon is fake, whether or not it's a hologram or not. Um, I'm not so certain about that because of the tides and the amount of time that I've spent um, on the beach and the pull of the moon with the tides and even on my body as a woman, how it changes. So, whether or not it's actually a material thing, I can't prove that, but it does indicate that it has some type of mass or energy. And I do believe it may be on an energy type level, like more of a spiritual. Just like when people read the Bible, they're either taking it literal and it may be a spiritual thing, or it could be a little bit of each, whatever we're talking about. But Ron DeSantis. And then people thinking that Trump's going to come back and save anybody from anything. Whatever. It's all a big game. And they're talking about maybe trying to get Obama back in there and claiming Camilla and Joe are incompetent and the games. When the dark cabal bankers and all of them, it's always been one world government. Always. There hasn't been a time that it hasn't. The tricks, the witchcraft, the lies, um, the poisonings, all their little shenanigans that they do against all of us. All the crafts all the different families have learned and passed on through the world that all the people try and uh, apply and deploy. It's really amazing when you think about it. And the stuff we carry in our DNA, the unspoken stuff that we can't prove. And then to think of the DNA that actually hasn't been activated yet. That's amazing to think of, too. Yeah, life's exciting, isn't it? Terrible. It hurts. So, well, everybody, I'm going to get this uploaded and I'll be back tomorrow. And once again, if you're new here, I appreciate you. Thank you for joining me. Um, what do you think about one of our statesmen being over in Israel, signing laws concerning a state in the United States. Why? What would be the reason? Even if they were over here, those Israelites, rabbi, whoever they want to call themselves, if there was somebody like they were standing around Trump signing in the Noahide laws, and I show these things to people and they're like, oh, it's just every day with the chosen ones. No, it's just every day with the baby rapers and the people that think of you less than their pet. Read their books. I'm not telling you anything untrue. I would rather die than lie. That's the problem with the whole world. Repeat after me. What are you afraid of? You know, the worst you can do is die, or the worst you can do is lie, actually. Who would want to be alive and look in the mirror and say, wow, how could you even like yourself? You couldn't. You'd have to pretend and have everybody else pretending around you to even be in a society and be accepted. That's what they are. They're scum of the earth. So, well, thank you, everybody. I'm gonna get this uploaded now and wish you peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA. Have a good night or day wherever you're at.